morning, everybody. This is my first live. I'm going to be joined with my friend Jen Palko, and her and I are in a group together. Good morning. Hi. So Jen and I we're in a mastermind group called Full Time Purpose Accelerator, and I joined back in June, and my life has just changed tremendously since then. And so it's interesting because a lot of us that are in this group are all experiencing similar experiences. And so what Jen and I are going to be talking about today is the importance of surrounding yourself amongst people who are on the same vibration as you. You want, if you're, trying to, build your business, if you're trying to feel just be more positive on the daily base, you want to surround yourself amongst people who are on that same vibe to keep feeding you, to keep inspiring you and keeping you sustainable in that way. So that's what we're going to be talking about today.
No worries, here I am.
There you are. Hey,
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. So far, so good.
Yeah, great. Good to see you.
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
Easy, right? You just accept.
You just accept. Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy breezy.
Yeah.
Easy
Pretty
breezy.
easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I figured,
Awesome.
I was like, okay, I'm just going to have a chat with Jen. It's really no big deal, and just so happens
Yeah.
the camera's going to be on. So here we go.
Yeah. Hey, that totally casual, all good. Yeah, we're gonna talk about heart coherence, right? Heart resonance and
Yeah, yeah. And also, well, I kind of started it off by just describing our experience thus far with full-time purpose, because that's really kind of like the centerpiece of this. What's up,
hmm
Mimi? And
hello everyone.
And just I know that since I've joined Full Time Purpose, how my life has shifted tremendously. And not only that, but when you talk to different folks in the group, we're all having similar experiences.
Yeah.
Triple
Yeah.
digits, for an example. I
Yeah.
mean, really?
Yeah. True. We're having like synchronicities and yeah, all experiencing similar stuff, which is it's crazy but cool.
It's crazy but
Definitely.
cool.
It's crazy
Yeah,
but cool.
yeah.
Yeah. My life has shifted too since I joined and it's amazing to think because I joined back in December and I almost wasn't going to, I was toggling in my mind because of the costs and things like that. And it was
Hmm.
like I had this like a nudge. I've had to actually borrow money to join it, but
Yeah,
I had like a nudge and I was like, you know what? If I don't do it, how am I going to feel? It's always going to be on my mind, like,
yeah. What if?
what if, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
one of those instances where it's like, if I don't do this, if I don't take a leap in a different direction, then I'm going to be kicking myself in the ass for
Hmm.
it later
Hmm.
on, right?
Yep. Hmm.
So, so yeah, it's been a big help with just having the support system, especially now with like COVID going on and all this crazy stuff going on in the world. The timing was perfect, I
Yeah.
think, for us.
Impeccable. Yeah.
Yeah, to remain in a place where we can keep ourselves grounded and keep ourselves in this higher vibrational state, and just have that positive support system around. Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, now that I think about it, I honestly not sure where my mental state would be if it wasn't for the support group.
Yeah,
Really.
yeah.
Yeah. And I want to share with you how I got into the group because it's really, really wild. So, Aaron had a 21-day Raise Your Vibration challenge back in June, and
hmm
I was actually the one of the first. I was in the first group that he did, and so every single day, like every challenge he gave, I just felt myself just increasing, like my vibration just going up just more and more. Like one of the challenges was waking up at 5 a.m.
hmm
And ever since then, I'm up like clockwork at 5 a.m.,
Yeah, yeah.
effortlessly. So towards the end of the experience, just so happened he was doing this webinar with Victor about the Full-Time Purpose Accelerator. I had no idea what it's about. I had no idea that he was even offering an entrepreneur group. I was already in another entrepreneur group at that time. And
Okay.
so I took the webinar. As you know, the webinar is always like pull at your emotional strings. You're like, I really need to do this. But I really felt like it wasn't like a shiny, shiny, sparkly, shiny syndrome, whatever they call it. I felt like I really needed to be in this group.
Yeah.
So I sat on it. I swear, Jen. So I always see triple digits anyway. The morning that I said that the night that I said to sleep on it, the morning that I woke up at exactly 444. I was like, okay, I need to do
Awesome.
this. And
Yeah.
the last thing I'm
Yeah.
going to say was, which I thought was really interesting, Aaron's energy, I feel like one of his power spirits is a squirrel. He's got like squirrel-like
I
energy
could
about him.
I could see that. I could totally see that.
And we have tons of squirrels in our neighborhood. And
Yeah.
the day that I was contemplating, there was this freaking squirrel right in front of my window that was just acting super erratic, more so than other squirrels. So between the squirrels and like the increased triple digits, I knew
Yeah.
I needed to do it.
Yeah.
And I spoke to my the other group I was in. She was like, "Please, you have my blessing." And within just it's only been barely a month, and I'm a completely different person as a result.
Yeah. Yeah, I
And
mean, see, I've seen the shifts in you, getting over the fears of putting out like the videos and things like that have been, even doing the IG Live, I know was a big deal for you too.
yeah,
I mean, it was
yeah,
for me too, because, fear of public speaking being live, it's like,
yeah.
Um, but yeah, it seemed like for me too, the timing was kind of impeccable because I was at a place in my life where I wasn't working a lot. I was really like, I don't know, I was feeling very depressed. I was feeling without purpose, without meaning, and I was stuck. And I was like, I don't know what the hell to do, every day I don't know what to do with myself. It was like this feeling of just like boredom kind of.
Yeah,
And I didn't know, I just didn't know what to do with myself. And it was just like, I got the information about the webinar or whatever, and I was like, hmm. And then one day I remember I was driving, I used to go to the bookstore a lot and just like write. That's like my second home. And I remember driving home the one day and something hit me, like all the puzzle pieces, all the little fragmented pieces that have been, uh, you know, scattered in my life up until this point, like it all fit together
mm,
in that exact moment. I was just
wow,
driving
wow,
and it was like everything made sense suddenly. It all made sense. And I'm like, this is what I'm supposed to do.
yeah,
This is what I'm supposed to do. And it was like
hmm,
a shift to an online business.
yeah,
And it was just amazing how it happened because it was just like out of the blue, out of nowhere. And
and no
it's just like,
question, no doubt.
yeah, everything just made sense suddenly,
Yeah,
And yesterday it didn't make sense. None of it made sense, So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool how stuff like that happens. Definitely.
and then look at us, look where we are now. It's like I feel like we're like in this academy of superheroes,
Yeah.
and just the fact that we're all over the world and
Yeah.
we're all supporting each other, like it doesn't feel competitive, it's just, and again,
Well,
like
helping each other. Yeah.
we're totally helping each other, and it's like indirectly and directly,
Hmm.
and then it's just like I'm also noticing, like, even beyond our group, just the whole concept of light workers. Like just light workers in general. I'm feeling like there's this gathering of that's happening of like-minded people like us, like even through social media. I'm
Hmm.
connecting with people on social media that I haven't before. It's like we're kind of going beyond the ego because our structure around us is breaking down. That we're like, okay, we need to get to the core of who we really are. So what I mean by that is, like, with social media, normally it's about like just posting and it's all about you and looking good and the best shot.
Right.
Where
Right.
now it's like
Duck faces. Yeah.
it's a lot more like authentic. Like
Hmm.
I'm having private conversations with people outside of like the regular post stream. That's just really profound.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's something to be said about that.
Yeah, I feel that because I've like dabbled in like MLMs before, like
Hmm.
marketing.
Yeah, yeah, been there.
And it was always like I'd always get like I enjoyed the interaction with people and talking with people, but then it was always like it felt so salesy and pitchy, and
Hmm.
I don't
Yeah,
feel like that now. I feel like there's a even though it's going to be a money exchange, energetic exchange, there's a deeper lying message and meaning. It feels different. It definitely feels different than
yeah,
just like doing it for egotistical reasons, like you said, or coming
yeah.
from a place of just making it all about you. Because it's not all about us. It's
It's
about the
not all about it.
collective,
Yeah,
right?
it's
It's
about
about the
all of
collective.
us. It's
Yeah,
about all of
yeah,
us.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
it's pretty amazing. It's pretty awesome.
yeah, yeah, it is. And I'm just thinking about the juxtapose of it all, because
Hmm.
if you go to mainstream media, the world is burning. You got this polarization with the Democratic and Republicans, and it's
Oh
just,
yeah. Yeah.
you
So
know,
much,
uh,
so much separation. Yeah,
so
division.
much.
Yeah.
But it makes me question, like, and that's the thing. It's like, well, does it really just come down to perspective? Because I do have a handful of people, Jen, that are still in the matrix, that just like, if I try to have these try to conversations like you and I are having, they're
Hmm.
not hearing it, you know?
Right,
And so
right.
it's just like, well, what makes folks like
So
us, Crystal, hey
Crystal
Crystal,
joined, yeah.
hey lady, so like what is it about like our perspective that makes it different? You know, is it that we, I don't know, it just kind of validates that there is some type of vibration that we are embodying, that it's not just this
Yeah.
new age, you know,
Hmm.
positive thinking.
Yeah.
There's really something valid to this.
Yeah, I mean, I think you know, raise your vibration, for one, you're more aware. You're more aware of things. So, you know, I would live in a place. I used to watch the news. I used to be, you know, you don't notice it when you're in it, you
Yeah.
know, until you kind of move outside the circle and you learn to observe it, and it is perspective in a way, but it's also an energetic thing, you know. It's definitely an energetic thing where, um, you know, now I find myself more sensitive to things that are lower on the vibrational
Yeah.
scale. Even this past week, it was like I was watching some kind of show on Netflix or whatever, and I watched an episode, and it was more like a lot lower vibrational kind of
Hmm.
thing, a lot of like violence and stuff. And it was
Hmm.
good, but I
Yeah.
find myself this week, I'm like, you know what? I'm not really, I don't really want to watch that. I'm like, I want to like put on a comedy or something, you know? And it's like these little shifts, even with the music, you know, music I
Yeah.
listen to now has
Hmm.
shifted too to more uplifting, like, you know, dance music or something, as opposed to like heavy metal and things like that. But yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah, I have a similar experience where, you know, shortly before I joined the group, I was like on my revolutionary, you know, vibe. Like I created a separate Instagram account
Hmm.
that was all about, because it was like, oh, you know, the QAnon movement, and I got to spread the information and become a digital soldier and let people know about what's happening with the elites, and you know, really got into conspiracy theories. I hate using that
Yeah, yeah,
term because there is a lot of truth in that movement. But
right.
then I just found that as my vibration started to rise, I can't even stomach that anymore. And I
Hmm.
made a decision that, okay, I'm still doing the work, but I'm just on the other side. It's more in the light, more so than in the dark, because I feel like people definitely need to be aware of all those things that's happening that I can't even really get into in this conversation. You know, we got to
Hmm.
know like both what's happening in the dark and the light. But then I feel like as a soldier, as a light worker, you can choose to like immerse yourself in the dark, or you can. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of judgment in you know, it's so black and white. So, you know, the people who want to reveal the truth, you know, conspiracy theories, whatever you want to call it, the truth about what's going on in the world, there's a lot of judgment. There's a lot of, you know, it's still that separation. So I think the difference is learning just acceptance of everything, of the
Yeah.
light and the dark as a unit, and not judging anything, you know. Enlightenment, anybody who calls themselves enlightened is, in a sense, just by them doing that, they're judging other people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
hate that when people are like, I'm enlightened, I'm enlightened. No, because enlightenment, I mean, you wouldn't think like the Dalai Lama or somebody would be walking around telling
Yeah.
everybody how
Oh Lord.
enlightened they are. You know what I mean? Like there's
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
there's no judgment on other people. So
Yeah.
that's the difference. And I think that it's still, people don't realize that they're still coming from a place of ego, and there's still this degree of separation and
Hmm.
division, even though they're like, I know the truth, you know, the truth about what is truth really, right? We all
Right.
don't really know what
Yeah.
truth is.
My teacher calls that person an enlightened asshole.
Yeah, exactly. And you see that, I mean, you see that in the new age community, spiritual
Yeah,
community. You see it
yeah,
everywhere. You see it
yeah,
everywhere. Yeah,
totally.
everywhere. Hmm.
But the beauty about coming from a heart space is that you have compassion. And so instead of like I used to get triggered, but now I'm realizing that there's really no hierarchy. There's just like a karmic evolutionary will, and we're on different aspects on that evolutionary will. And so
Hmm.
even like those who are in like the quote unquote conspiracy theory circles, they mean well. They're just still working out their karma. They're just still
Right.
working out, you know, because eventually, you know, most of them are going to come to the light and realize that there is a different way to go about it, and that it's not ego, that it is part of the collective. So
Hmm.
I think it's just a matter of time for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, everybody's in their own place, their own time,
Hmm.
however long that takes for them. So, yeah. So, heart coherence, heart resonance, you want to get into that or what, I guess when did you first become aware of like heart resonance and the power behind it and
Heart math, heart currents.
yeah.
It's funny how things work because I first it became it like entered into my lexicon about 6 months ago, and like I subscribed to the newsletter, but I never really read it, and it was just kind of there, and it really honestly wasn't until the last month that I really started to understand it. And
Hmm.
what's wild is one morning I was cleaning in our record room and I just found this book. I'm like, where the hell did this book
Oh,
come
it's
from?
backwards. The heart
Oh, it
method
is?
is here.
Yeah, the
Nice.
heart
Yeah,
method.
it's okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a
So,
mirror. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So I'm like, okay, my husband doesn't know where the book came from. I don't know where the book came from.
Wow.
So that's just I'm like, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I just noticed at once, and really, actually, it was again during the 21-day vibration challenge. That's when it really started to lock in because with Aaron's guided meditation, he always starts it off with putting your hand on your heart, and he would speak of how like your heart has the strongest electromagnetic energy than all the other organs,
Hmm.
and it just started from there. And so yeah, it's very new for me, Jen. But the moment I started tapping into it, it just took me on a whole other level now.
Yeah.
And it's just
Yeah.
like now, like okay, COVID and working from home and starting my business and all these things, and I could wallow in the stresses of what's going to happen, or I can just follow my heart and just do what my heart is telling me to do, even though sometimes what it's telling me, I'm like, what? You want me to do what? But then, like, every time I follow suit, blessings follow every
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
It's
yeah,
amazing. That's
that's where
pretty
I'm at with
cool.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think I always kind of knew about it. I mean, I got into like law of attraction and stuff many, many years ago.
Hmm.
But I don't know. I picked up a couple. I have a book here too. We all have like books around.
Yeah.
This is like one of my favorite books. It's going to be backwards for you guys. The DNA fields
The
and the
DNA
law of
fields.
resonance. This book's amazing. I've read it like 10 times.
Mm, mm.
But yeah, I mean that's I don't know. I've been into it and dabbled with it. Even when I was studying acupuncture, uh, they use it actually in community acupuncture. Like they have a group called Acupuncturists Without Borders that goes around like does trauma relief in different parts of the world. So say
Mhm.
there's like a hurricane or something like that, they'll go and do ear points on people, but then have people do the heart coherence method over their heart, and um, and it's something about a group healing effect.
Wow.
it's
Mm.
it's amazing because it's so powerful because as you know the electromagnetic energy field
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
is powerful and more powerful than the brain and just the effects on how it can shift your body's vibration, how it can shift your mood and everything is and it only takes 5 minutes, 5 minutes to shift you.
I believe
And
it
it does
because
help to hold the hand over the heart too, because I
yeah,
think that helps you
because
focus.
yeah,
Yeah.
like that somatic, level.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, when you say that, it reminds me of like sound healing. Like what sound healing is doing is like it's
Yeah.
creating, resonance because we're, in a dissonance. And even when you think about like the freaking cellular towers for our cell phones, like all like the
Hmm.
radio, radio, what do you call it? Like the radio waves. What it's like the
Yeah, I
it's
get it. Wavelengths, and I
yeah,
get them all
wavelength.
confused. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but it's just between like, cellular devices, the
Right.
microwaves, all that's causing dissonance. And
Yeah.
that's why
Yeah.
sound healing, like binaural beats are so powerful because it
Mm.
creates, so it definitely makes sense since we're all energy that
Hmm.
a heart coherence, collectively is
Right.
just as powerful.
Yeah, and how the different frequencies have an effect on our body. It was at 528,
Yeah,
the
428, the
love
love.
frequency.
Yeah,
I
the love
used that years
frequency. Yeah.
ago, and I
Hmm.
remember just listen to it for like 10 minutes.
That's all
It
you
would it
need.
would it would shift. Like you would
Yeah.
feel the shift in your body, and it's amazing how all this stuff is powerful. But yeah, we have all the cell towers like you said and everything constantly. if we could only see it all, it would be like all
Ooh.
this, yeah, we wouldn't
Yeah.
want to see it all,
Yeah.
but our bodies are constantly being affected by all this stuff. So the more we can bring ourselves back into balance and in resonance is huge. Keep us,
And the more that we surround ourselves with like-minded beings,
yeah,
like it's just like
yeah,
it's almost as if like the more that we can gather, it's like we can protect ourselves energetically.
hmm yeah.
I don't
It's
know.
like
That's just what came to
building
mind.
up a force field,
Yeah.
essentially, right?
The Care
Yeah.
Bears, they were onto something.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, like attracts like. So the more you keep yourself in that state, the more those types of people are going to come into your life, and the more you find yourself releasing things that are no longer in resonance with your body and with yourself.
So with that said, Jen, I'm curious, like since, you've been immersed in this group and starting to, connect with other quote unquote like-minded beings or like workers, are you finding that your own inner work is becoming easier to shift through?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think you know, years ago I would have moments. It's like I would try to get law of attraction to work and all these things, but I was coming from a place of probably ego, and it was like in and out, like get spurts of like feeling something shift, and then you just like go back to yourself. So now I think I'm in a place where it's more sustainable. Like I feel like everything is shifting to a place where I just feel better.
Yeah.
Everything feels better, just to a more positive place for myself, and yeah, part of that is releasing things no longer serving you. Part of that is not watching the news like for hours a day, and reading books that are constantly uplifting me and shifting me. So it all helps. I mean, the more we surround ourselves with each other and groups, we watch each other's videos, we
Mhm.
um, do these collaborations and things like that where we're talking about it. We're just surrounding ourselves. So our body is constantly absorbing this stuff,
Yeah.
constantly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's amazing.
Yeah, it really is amazing. It really is amazing. Yeah. And just again, the fact that it's happening now when we need this more than ever,
Yeah.
And I like to subscribe to the truth that we chose our destiny. Like I subscribe to the truth that we chose when to be born at what particular time
hmm
because of like a certain mission or lessons that our souls needs to fulfill. And so like I don't know if you're familiar with like indigo children and crystal children, that whole
Not
concept.
not a ton. I mean, I
Okay.
know the concept, but
So basically what this is, it's like it's it's generational. It's based on like frequencies on each generation. So like and it's also correlated to the chakras. So like our parents were, that would be the blue chakra. So that's when like television was invented, radio
mm,
was invented, a lot of like communication, right?
hmm
And so, but they fucked up a lot of shit. And so the indigos, that's who we are, which is based on the sixth chakra. The indigo energy came in with like this warrior like quality. Think about like Grudge, was it our what was it called, like Nirvana, that whole era in the 90s with the rock and roll
hmm
music, like
hmm
so that was like hardcore indigo, like fuck
hmm
the system,
right.
like we were labeled with ADD, not because we had an attention deficit disorder, but because our vibration was such a high frequency that the older generations didn't know what to do with us. So what did they did?
Mm,
They drugged us with Ritalin. Same thing that they're doing with the autistic children because they don't understand the vibration. And so us indigos, we all knew back then that we had a mission. We knew it, but we couldn't quite put our finger on it. And I feel like this is it. This is the time right now. It's like the analogy I think about is being like if you're in a play and you're backstage and it's time for you to go on stage and the red light comes on.
hmm
That's where we are right now. Like the red
hmm
light's on, it's time to go on stage and do the work. And so I feel like that's why there's also this gathering of all of us because we knew on a very deep subconscious level that we were here for a reason. And I really feel like 2020 is the beginning of that.
mm, yeah.
So,
Yeah. I mean, you can definitely feel it. This year is it definitely has a different vibe to it.
mhm.
Definitely has a different vibe to it. So I think I think there's definitely a lot of truth to what you just said, for sure. Yeah.
And just to complete that, the crystal children are the crown chakra. So that's like the younger generation. And just keep your eye open. Like whenever you look at these little babies, they all have like this crystal ball glow about them. They're just like,
Hmm.
ah, just really like happy. And so they're here, they're gonna like complete the circle. Like we're the warriors, but they're the ones that's bringing us back to full love and compassion. So
Mm.
right now there is this like hybrid of crystal and indigo children. I like millennials. I think millennials are more crystal like than,
Hmm.
the other generation. So anyway, I just wanted to finish that concept.
Yeah, I mean, we're evolving. We're definitely evolving. You can definitely feel that. Awesome.
Yeah, the uncomfortable silence.
Ah, it's all good. Anybody have any questions, comments? Some hearts?
Hmm. Right on. Thanks for that heart. That was really sweet.
Hearts for heart coherence. Anything else you wanted to touch on? I mean, as far as, I think this was good because it's an uplifting discussion for one, and that's the thing too. I mean, all the discussions are very high vibrational, uplifting. Especially now, we're in such a fear-based society. A lot of people, it's all
Yeah.
fear, it's all worry, but you have to realize that, if that's your place, if that's your world, then what are you attracting? You're attracting more fear, you're attracting more worry.
Hmm.
So you're going to see more of it in your surroundings. So it's the same reason where we surround ourselves, or choose to surround ourselves with more like-minded individuals, then that's what's going to show up. That's going to be our reality. So yeah, I mean, I think that's important, and I think a lot of people are kind of stuck in a place where they don't know like how to, like, they just think that this is how it is, but I don't feel that way. Like, I don't feel, just personally, with everything that's going on, I don't feel bad about it. Like, I'm not denying that any of it is happening, that
Hmm.
there's, pandemic going on, or all this political stuff and everybody's arguing. You can observe that. You could observe it from the sidelines, but it doesn't mean that you have to integrate yourself into it. You know what I mean? I think that is
Yeah.
the difference between just getting caught up and reacting to things rather than just observing what's going on and saying,
Hmm.
okay, like, this is it, and accepting that, in a way, accepting that everybody's in their own place and time, and accepting that without judgment on other people, because there's just too much judgment right now, I feel. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I feel that, part of the reason why it's so difficult to get unstuck, because the powers that be have invested tons of money to keep people stuck. The
Yeah. Yeah.
commercials, the processed
Exactly.
food, God knows what's in the air that we can't see. You know what I mean? The entertainment, the movies, the Netflix, all of it. It's all
Hmm.
like part of like a mind control, And so like what one thing that Aaron says, he talks about like, the scale of like emotions and
Hmm.
how each emotion is like quantified on frequency. And when you're in the fear and depression and jealousy comparison, that's when you're prone to be mind controlled. You're because you're in that fear base, so
Exactly.
you'll believe anything. You'll believe
Hmm.
that there's this X amount of people that are dying every single day, because of
Right.
this. You know what I mean? So it's really, again, it really comes back to the importance of surrounding yourself with like-minded people. Like if you're watching this and you're in that low state and you don't know how to get out of it, think about the people that you're surrounding yourself with. Maybe
Hmm.
it's time to find some new friends. Listen to different types of music, like Jim was saying
Right.
earlier. Listen to different, watch different movies. So it's just like, in order to break out of that, you have to change everything in your
Hmm.
environment, everything in your life, and it's
Yeah. I
hard.
mean, it is, and I think it is a matter of taking a look at who you're surrounding yourself with, right? Who are you around the most? And then ask yourself, okay, are these people, or is this person benefiting me in any way, or am I just holding on because that's my comfort level? Like, that's
Yeah.
just, I don't want to release it because it's scary, or it's all fear-based, right? And going back to what you said about the emotional scale, I mean, that's huge, because yeah, people make decisions or they buy stuff to feel better when they're in that low state.
Mhm.
So it's a shame that, you know, everything that's in this world is kind of, we're in that state, in that mentality, like we want to make you feel bad so you can give us money, right? To make
Right.
you feel better,
Yeah,
make you feel better
totally.
temporarily, right?
Right. Yeah.
Because they don't want to heal you or cure you. I mean,
Heaven
look at
no.
even
Yeah.
pharmaceuticals. I mean, we could get into a whole other video on
Yeah.
that, where it's,
Right.
the industry wants to keep you sick. Like they want to get you well enough, but they don't want to cure you or completely heal you. They
Hmm.
want you to always think that you need to keep taking this drug, or they
Right.
want you to
Yeah.
always think that there's
Hmm.
something wrong with you. So I
Yeah.
think it's shifting to a place where we no longer feel like we're an outcast, or that we have that there's something wrong with us, right? There's something abnormal about us, right? If we have, oh, I have ADD, there's something wrong with me, therefore I
Hmm.
need to take a pill to solve
Right.
it. You
Right.
know what I mean? Because it
Yeah.
again goes back into fitting in this societal mold. And we can accept that, or we can break out of that mold and say, hey, just because this is how everybody else is acting, or it doesn't mean that I have to accept that there's something wrong with me, right? There's
Hmm.
something wrong with me. There's no good or bad. There's no normal, abnormal. Those are just labels that we've put on things, saying that somebody has a certain disease, that is still a
Right.
label, right? It's
Right.
still a
Yeah.
label.
Yeah.
It's still a label. So
Hmm.
so yeah, it's a matter of thinking about that and really asking yourself, do I choose to just, be in this mold? Do I choose to keep hanging around people who make me feel bad about myself, or make me feel like I'm abnormal in some way? So that's a big shifter right there, is just the awareness
And
of,
that's scary. It's a scary place to
yeah,
be.
yeah. Hi, Tara. Tara, it's on. Totally agree. Natural brain function to be terrified of losing relationships, but it's not dangerous. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's outside the comfort zone, our brain wants to protect us, people around us want to protect us and keep us in our safe zone. So breaking out of that it is scary. It is scary, because then we always face judgment from other
Hmm.
people, or criticism, and
Hmm.
just as human beings, we feel vulnerable, we feel intimidated by it.
And that's why if you just come from your heart and take that
Yeah.
leap and trust, you really can't go wrong. And that's what
Mm-hmm.
this is all about. If you just, when you come from your heart, you can like shut out all the chatter, because your heart is not going to lead you astray.
Right.
And, so I'm hoping that that's the message that we could, relay today to
Mm-hmm.
those who are feeling stuck, for those who are feeling like, I want a different life, but I don't know how to get out of it. It could just be as simply as just calming down, getting yourself grounded. And also diet plays a big part in this too.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're like,
Yeah.
consuming alcohol and drinking a lot of, caffeine and sugar and processed foods, then you're going to kind of distort that connection,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
so
Yeah. Roy said, you can't go wrong when you ask. Lead from your heart, sister. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, every
Absolutely.
time.
Yeah, so a lot of it is learning to tap into the heart and not the head. Know the difference between the two, and when they're talking, right? And is it coming from my ego, or is it coming from my heart? Heart,
Hmm.
you're going to feel this expansive energy, this uplifting energy. It's going to feel good, right? It's
Yeah.
like it's your body's intuition, right? It's like your gut feeling that we have, or something. It's always going to lead you in the right direction. It's just a matter of knowing how to listen to it,
Yeah.
because a lot of
Hmm.
times it gets clouded between our head and our heart. But if you can align those two, then that's the biggest shifter that
Yeah.
there is. If you can align the mind with the heart,
Hmm.
with your heart, but listen to the heart first, and which direction the heart is going. So even if it goes back to like the people you surround yourself, make a list, write
Yeah.
down the 5 people or the 10 people that you're around the most, and just read out when you're reading off the names, see that initial
Yeah.
reaction, that
Yeah.
initial feeling you get,
Hmm.
right? Or
Hmm.
write down the first thing that comes to mind, and how you feel about that. And that's going to give you a pretty good indicator,
Hmm.
of whether this is somebody who is helping you or hurting you, essentially, who
Hmm.
is giving you energy, or draining your energy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Chi vampires.
Yeah, yeah. Tap into the most powerful electromagnetic field in your
Yeah,
body.
that's
Yes,
true. Yeah.
indeed. What is
I
it?
would, yeah.
5,000 times more powerful than the brain, the
Okay.
electromagnetic energy. Yeah.
I didn't know the number
And the
exactly what
field
it
extends,
was.
I believe, what, 10 feet? Crystal probably knows, 10 feet out. So, and also with the heart resonance stuff, you don't have to be near somebody. Like you can affect somebody on the other side of the world, by
Mhm.
thinking about them, sending your love out. So that's where it plays a part in this collective unit. And if everybody were to use their heart more, then it would just up the vibration of the whole planet and everybody. And we'd be in a better place.
Honestly, sis, I feel like we're on our way.
Yeah,
I feel like
yeah.
that's what we're doing here,
Yeah,
you know?
I think we're at the climax, like the height of where everything seems like it's falling apart, but it's not really falling apart. It's like, what comes at the calm after the storm type of thing.
It's a healing crisis.
Yeah, yeah,
That's how
yeah.
I like to look at it, you
Basically,
know?
or
Yeah.
dark night of the soul,
Dark
whatever
night
you
of the
want to call
soul.
it. Yeah,
Yeah. So it's like a
yeah,
purging, like
yeah.
whenever,
It's like,
or even like a mental release. When we talk about doing our inner work, it's letting up, the demons or like when you do a detox, you got phlegm coming up, you got a
yep,
headache, you get
everything's
nauseous,
coming to the surface. Yep.
Yeah. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just keep drinking your apple cider vinegar, everybody. You'll be fine.
Yeah, keep drinking your water and just, ride the wave, ride the wave.
But I want to say one thing. I just want to remind everyone that because I feel like the mind gets a bad rap. The brain is just doing its job.
Yeah,
Like the brain is
yeah.
there to protect us, and it's been caught up in this particular loop for so long, and that's why any change, it's like, wait a minute,
Mm-hmm.
hold on, wait a minute, that may be dangerous if we do that. So that I feel like there's another something else to keep in mind when you're doing that heart brain connection is to also give your brain compassion and thank it for
Right.
doing its job.
Yeah, yeah, because a lot of times, if you think about it, a lot of times we fight with our brain, we battle with our brain. We have, so it's learning to accept the thoughts that are coming in and not resisting and not fighting with them and saying, I don't want to think that. It's like trying to think positive to manifest something in your life.
Yeah.
Whenever you have
Hmm.
like negative thoughts coming in, you're always like, no, don't think that, don't think that, don't think that. That's going to ruin my manifestation practices.
And then
You
when
have
you're
to
doing it,
just
you're thinking about it still.
Yeah, you just have to allow it. I mean, we memorize patterns from a very young age, so it's not like flipping a switch is, it's going to be very difficult because we're humans. So we have to recognize that we're human beings, and human beings by nature, like we have this natural instinct for preservation and just to defend ourselves and protect ourselves, and that's what our brain is doing essentially.
Mhm.
So it's we just have to learn to love it instead of hating it all the time. So that's the message behind it all.
I want to shout out to everybody who's here. What's up,
Yeah, thank you guys for
Trina?
joining. Thank you
Yeah.
guys. I think it was a really good discussion today. And our first live together, so
Our first
that's
live together.
amazing. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. Not too
Yeah,
shabby.
not too bad, right?
Like, oh, okay. Now I did it. Now moving
Yep.
forward, it'll be a lot more easier. So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Gets easier and easier. So
Well, thank you, Jen, for joining me in this conversation. And
thank you, thank
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Yeah, likewise.
Is there anything else you want to say in conclusion?
Uh, no, I mean, I think we covered a lot of bases here, and just listen to your heart. Everybody, if they can, take 5 minutes today and just do a quick little
That's all
heart
it takes.
coherence. That's
That's
all
all
it
it
takes.
takes.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
especially if you're feeling kind of like triggered by something or in a bad place, just remember that and remind yourself. Just take 5 minutes and
Mhm.
go sit outside or something and just place your hands over your heart and do some deep breathing and concentrate on just lifting yourself back up for a few minutes. It'll help.
We're gonna be just fine, everybody. We're gonna be just fine.
It's all good. It's
It's
all
all
good. Life
good.
is good.
Yeah.
Life is good.
Yeah.
Life is good. Yes, thank you, Vivi, for joining.
Thank you, Vivi. Yeah, thank you everyone and Crystal. And I don't who's World Squid? World Squid?
Sure.
Yeah, cool name, but thank you.
Yeah,
Misty's meditation always gets me realigned. Yeah,
sweet.
right on. Yeah.
Nice.
And Jen, I actually just listened to your kickstart 10-minute kickstart right before our
Oh,
call.
cool.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
nice.
yeah.
Nice. Awesome.
So
Cool. Ground you, right?
yeah. And last thing I want to say to everyone too, there's a ton of really awesome like binaural beats on YouTube. Jen has one as well, the 10-minute kickstart. Where can I find that? Do you have
Um,
that on your
yeah,
Instagram
I
as
have that
well?
in most of my YouTube videos. I mean,
Okay.
it's in the link below the description. You can
All
find it
right.
there. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah,
Definitely.
and I also have a couple of binaural tracks. You can go to my YouTube as well in the comments. So yeah, so there's tools out there to I like,
Yeah.
sometimes I like to add that layer of the sound with the heart coherence, just
Mm-hmm.
to go a little deeper. So yeah. So I just want to
Awesome.
offer that.
Yeah. Yeah. All powerful stuff. All
Mm.
powerful stuff. Yep. Cool.
All right. Well, I guess
Nice.
we're complete.
Yeah, this is great. So thank you again, and
Yeah,
thank you
Jen.
everybody who joined.
Yeah.
Always great to have our posse on.
Full-time purpose in full effect.
Yeah, right? It's amazing. It's amazing.
Well, much love
Um,
to you all, to the full-time purpose crew. You guys were the inspiration behind this video, and I just want to take this moment out to honor every single one of you. I mean, I am who I am right now because of this group. So just so much gratitude.
Same here. All
Yeah.
love, all love. As Roy says, all love.
Yeah, all love, all love. Alrighty, well, I guess that's a wrap.
Awesome. Thank
Alrighty
you
then.
again,
Thank
and
you, sweetheart.
have a great day.
You as well.
And you know how to say it.